Taylor Swift didn't become a billionaire simply by selling more albums. One of the biggest decisions of her career was about something much more valuable: owning her music. And that decision didn't just change Taylor Swift's career, it helped turn her music into a $1 billion business empire. But the story behind that decision is even more fascinating than the money. When Taylor Swift first became a star, she was signed to Big Machine Records. Her first 6 albums became incredibly successful, producing some of the biggest songs of her early career. But there was a problem. Taylor had written the songs, performed them, and built her identity around them, but she didn't own the original master recordings of those albums. In 2019, those masters were sold as part of a major deal, reportedly worth around $320 million. For Taylor, this wasn't simply a business transaction. Those recordings represented years of her life. So instead of accepting the situation, she made a decision that would completely change the music business. She decided to recreate her own music. Taylor began re-recording her first 6 albums, and she gave those new recordings a name fans would quickly recognize: Taylor's version. .ss. At first, it might have sounded like an impossible strategy. Why would millions of people listen to songs they had already heard? But Taylor understood something incredibly important. She didn't just have songs, she had a massive audience that cared about the story behind those songs. When a Fearless, Taylor's version arrived, fans supported it. Then came our Eddie Taylor's version, then X Peak, now Taylor's version, and DDT9 Taylor's version. Each release wasn't simply a trip into the past, it became a new event. Fans streamed the new versions, bought physical copies, talked about them online, and rediscovered songs they already loved. Taylor had turned an ownership problem into a new business opportunity. And then came the decision that took everything to another level: the Eras Tour. Instead of focusing on just one album, Taylor built a massive concert experience around her entire career. Every era became part of the show. Every album became part of the story, and millions of fans wanted to experience it. The result was extraordinary. Bloomberg reported in 2023 that Taylor had entered billionaire status, estimating her fortune at around $1.1 billion at the time. Its analysis attributed major portions to music, touring, merchandise, streaming, and real estate. But here's what makes her story different. Her wealth wasn't built around just one product. It was built around an entire ecosystem: music, concerts, merchandise, streaming, film, and most importantly, her relationship with her audience. Taylor's strategy also changed the conversation around music ownership. For decades, many artists had limited control over the recordings that made them famous. Taylor's re-recording strategy showed that an artist could potentially create new versions of old work and give fans a reason to choose them. And in 2025, Taylor announced that she had acquired the rights to her first 6 albums, finally gaining control over the recordings that had been at the center of the dispute. On her official website, Taylor described buying back her music as a lifelong dream and said the success of the Eras Tour and support for the re-recorded albums helped make that possible. Think about that. The decision that began as a fight over ownership eventually helped lead to Taylor getting her music back. The selling. Big people see the real lesson, but the biggest lesson isn't actually about becoming a billionaire. It's about control. Taylor Swift understood that having a hit song isn't the same thing as controlling the value of that song. So she built a career where her music, her audience, her performances, and her brand worked together. That's why the phrase Taylor's version became much bigger than a label on an album. It became a business strategy. It became a message to the industry. And it became a symbol of an artist fighting to control her own work, to buzz, ending dance, Taylor Swift's billion-dollar journey wasn't created by one lucky break. It was built through years of songwriting, smart decisions, calculated risks, and an understanding of what her fans valued. But one decision stands out. She chose to take control of her music instead of simply accepting the situation, Dodge, and that decision helped create something much bigger than a collection of re-recorded albums. It helped build an empire because sometimes the most powerful thing an artist can own isn't the spotlight, it's the work behind it. Ss.